Hola, hola, and welcome back to a new video. So this one is going to be about how to learn languages when you don't have anyone to talk to, when you don't have native speakers to talk to, or how to learn a language on your own. All right, without further ado, we're gonna jump right into the first one, and that is quite obvious, but then not so obvious because it's a little bit weird, but you get used to it, and that is talking to yourself. I mean, you're with yourself 24/7, so you might as well just talk to yourself if you don't have anyone to talk to. And it is obvious, but then it's not so obvious because you're learning the language, so you're thinking, okay, so how can I talk to myself if I'm learning Spanish? I don't know what to say to myself. Well, here we go. Whatever you learn, write it down in sentences and phrases that you can repeat several times throughout the day. I would recommend doing a method like that. You write something down, you write action phrases down, and then whenever you are about to do them, you repeat them. Let's say you're about to go brush your teeth in the morning. You're doing your routine, you're doing your bedtime routine. Also, you could write sentences down, and then while you're doing those actions, you repeat them and talk to yourself. In the bathroom, that's even better because you have a mirror in front of yourself where you can repeat and then also see how you speak out the words, how they're pronounced. So that could be like, okay, I'm brushing my teeth in Spanish. Me estoy cepillando los dientes. I'm brushing my teeth. So whenever you do that action of brushing your teeth, you're gonna repeat several times the action of brushing your teeth in Spanish. Me estoy cepillando los dientes. Y ahora, y después, and then, or after, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to wash my face. Me voy a lavar la cara. And now I'm going to do this. So you write down everything you're going to do. Those are simple phrases that you can look up in your target language and always repeat. When you do that throughout the day with several actions, it will become quite easy to actually remember the vocabulary you learned. That's why I totally recommend doing that, and especially in front of the mirror, because you can see yourself, how you pronounce words, how you say them, and not only just hear yourself talking, but seeing yourself talking is very important, because seeing how your mouth, your lips, your tongue, everything moves with the different pronunciations of the words. All right, so this was the first one. Let's get into the second one. The second one is a good one. That one is actually to speak to an AI, an artificial intelligence chatting bot. You can speak to the AI and the AI will respond to you according to what you said, and it will be a normal conversation. So let's try that and I'll show you. All right, we're going to do this with the app Learny. The app Learny actually allows you to have natural conversations with an AI. It don't really sound like you're talking to a chatbot, but more so to a native speaker. So let's try that out. You can learn a bunch of languages with Learny. You see them here: English, Spanish, French, Portuguese, Italian, so many more languages. For now, we're going to stick to Spanish. Here you can choose what you want to talk about. That's pretty good because obviously you want to have a natural conversation, so you want to talk about topics that you're interested in, right? All right, let's listen to the first conversation.
Entonces, ¿qué tipo de música te gusta?
Okay, so they were asking, entonces, ¿qué tipo de música te gusta? Me gusta el hip hop y el reggaeton. It is going to evaluate your answer. So if something is missing, it might say, okay, you know, correct this or that. Maybe the verb is missing or something. Great. So now I am going to continue and then see what the AI says now.
Okay, ¿puedes recomendarme algunas de tus canciones favoritas?
Look at that. I'm astonished. The conversation is very natural. So it's telling me, okay, can you recommend me some of your favorite songs? So that's very natural, right? Let's just say Despacito. Sí, me gusta la canción Despacito.
Okay, ¿por qué te gusta?
Oh, muy bien. Very good. That's actually a good question. So the AI is asking me, why do I like this song? Me gusta la canción porque se puede bailar con ella. Okay, I like the song because you can dance to it. So now, let's see. Excellent, good. Yeah, so that's how the conversation goes. Another great feature about this is you can actually make flashcards out of the words that you're learning. So here you have the whole conversation with the AI, and then you can make flashcards. So whenever you have like a word that you want to learn or keep, so what was said in the conversation, for example, te gusta bailar, and then I'll be like, sí, me gusta mucho what I said, and that is going to be my flashcard. So for the next time, I know what it means. Sí, me gusta mucho bailar. And then I can go over the flashcard, you know, whenever I want to. So then here, save, and that's it. So this is an excellent way to actually have a conversation, because the conversation now, I have the flashcard, te gusta bailar. And here,
¿Te gusta bailar?
sí, me gusta mucho. So that is my flashcard now. That is amazing, because the conversation, like you saw, is very natural. It doesn't really feel like you're talking to a bot. So this is definitely a way to learn and practice speaking when you don't have native speakers around you. So go down, click on the link below, check out Learny, and get 7 days for free. All right, and tip number 3 is a method that is also something that I've always been doing, but I didn't know that it had a name until when I started watching other YouTubers saying like, this is a method, this is a thing, because I didn't know it was a method. I used to just do it. I didn't look up any methods on how to learn languages. I just did them the best possible way I thought was fun and useful for me. So what I always used to do, that's also one thing I always mention in my videos that I used to, or I still do, I imitate. I'm a person that observes a lot. So I observe manners, how people speak, the way they move. So with language learning, that's actually like a very good thing to do, because I observe how people pronounce words, how they articulate. And I used to do that while watching series and TV shows in my target languages. So like in Spanish, Portuguese, I used to just imitate how I saw the actors speaking or like acting. And then also how native speakers would speak. I used to imitate how they were, you know, gesturing and speaking. In Spain, when I first arrived, I always saw people being on the phone, venga, hasta luego, like this. So they didn't say hasta luego, which means see you then, but they always be like hasta luego, hasta luego. They shortened their words, and that's something that immediately caught my attention. So they would say hasta luego instead of hasta luego. So that's something that I always imitated. And that's why also when I speak, it sounds more natural, because I imitate how native speakers would naturally speak, and not so much how I learned it by the books, but I look at native speakers. And that concept of imitating is actually called shadowing. So when you see or when you hear speakers say something, you imitate it and you repeat it several times. That's shadowing. So shadowing in a literal sense, where you do exactly and say exactly what they say in the tone they said it, how they said it. That's a very powerful method to actually learn how to speak like native speakers, how to speak more naturally without even having to have native speakers around you, because you can do that by simply watching series and TV shows. All right, let's get into the next one. The next one is to write. You can write a lot. Whenever you write, also read aloud. I also always say that you need to read aloud. The words need to be spoken out. They need to be pronounced, and you need to hear yourself pronouncing the words. So always repeat aloud. Whatever you read, repeat it. So for that, audiobooks are perfect, because you not only listen to them, but you can also read along with every word. You can listen how the speaker is pronouncing what they're reading, and you can also imitate that. With that, you can combine it with the shadowing, you know, when the reader's reading something out. Of course, with books, it's a lot more exaggerated often. When you have, for example, like storytelling, you also imitate how the author or the reader is pronouncing words. So that's an excellent combination as well. And something that I also mentioned on here in I think even my last video was to follow social media channels of people who speak your target language. So that could be influencers, YouTubers, whatever, authors or movie stars, whoever you want to follow and who speaks your target language. So if they're a Spanish speaker, a Portuguese speaker, whatever they are, you can always follow them on social media. It's one of the best ways to actually learn because you see them and hear them speak the most natural way because it's social media. When you have like behind the scenes footage or you follow someone, then it's very raw. It's supposed to be raw. So you will see them speak the most natural way, in a colloquial way, and that is how you can actually also go on to do the shadowing and imitate. I do that a lot. I follow a lot of Brazilian Spanish influencers, YouTubers, so when I see them saying something a lot, I see them repeating several expressions, so that's when I go on and think, okay, what does this expression mean? Let me look it up. That is something that will train your ears also to pick out several things that catch your attention, several expressions that catch your attention, and look them up. And once you look them up, you know the definition, you know the meaning, and then you will notice that you will see them coming up everywhere all of a sudden because you were putting your attention on them. That's also one good thing to practice speaking without having native speakers near you. And another excellent way is to actually record yourself. When you listen to yourself, you hear yourself, that's great, but recording yourself, it's a must. I used to do that also all the time. I used to record myself. You can record yourself reading a poem, reading out something, a book, whatever, or just, you know, talking freely about something. Just record yourself for a couple of minutes and then go over that recording. You will see that helps so much for your pronunciation. That helps to not only compare your pronunciation but see if you're actually pronouncing words correctly, and then also it trains your ears to actually pronounce correctly. That is very important for languages like, for example, French, which are very intonation based. According to how you pronounce words, they can have also different meanings, and sometimes the French people, if you don't pronounce correctly, they will just stare at you like, okay, what are you talking about? You know, in English, you can get away more easily with that, but in French, not so much with mispronouncing words. They put so much emphasis on the correct pronunciation. So it's very important to actually make sure you pronounce words correctly in French. In other languages, it's also very important, like for example, Chinese. Also, if you don't pronounce a word correctly in Chinese, it could have a completely total different meaning. Like you could say ma, which is horse, or you could say ma, which is mom. So a completely different meaning. It's technically the same letters, M-A, but different intonation. So that's very important to train your ears on that, because a lot of people don't have that. They don't hear the difference. But when you train your ears to that, you will hear the difference in intonation, and it will get easier to actually pronounce words. Those were the tips for today. I hope you guys liked them and enjoyed them, and tell me in the comments if you have more tips to help anyone out who doesn't have native speakers around them to practice with. All right, thank you so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.